Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. And I am currently in the process of moving. So everything in my apartment is all packed up. All of my books, except the one that I'm reviewing right now, are all packed up in boxes. So that's why everything looks very plain right now. I knew that before I moved, I wanted to get one more review so I could have it up on Sunday. So I decided that that review would be of Jacqueline Woodson's novel, Read at the Bone. I read it, I had thoughts, and so I want to give those to you. So if you're interested in hearing my review of Read at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson, keep on watching. Make sure that you thumbs up this video. Comment below when you're done. Let me know what you're reading. And subscribe if you haven't already. And also make sure that you press the notification bell so that you can get notifications whenever I upload new reviews, TBRs, reading wrap-ups, all that great stuff. So let's get right into it. All right, so I got my copy of Read at the Bone at my local library. They're doing curbside pickup. I literally got a bunch of books on hold and I've been picking them up periodically as they come in. And I was like, this is a book that I've seen. I've seen this cover everywhere. I've seen a bunch of people talking about it. I haven't watched it. I hadn't watched any actual reviews of the book, but I had seen it in people's TBRs and on book lists. And I was like, I need to read this. So I picked it up, and according to Goodreads, I started reading it on July 30th and I finished it on August 1st. So it took me about 2 days to actually like space out time to actually sit down and read this book, because I've just been kind of all over the place lately. The book starts in 2001, where the main character, Melody, is turning 16 years old. The opening scene is her walking down the steps on her 16th birthday and her family sort of watching her. What makes the story so interesting is each person in the family sort of gets their own chance to tell the story of everything leading up to this moment where Melody is turning 16. They talk about their lives, their experiences with parenthood. So we get the perspectives of Melody's mother, Melody's father, Melody's grandmother, and Melody's grandfather. And so we like really get to see how each of how this main event has sort of connected all of these different people. I felt like this novel was like a journey. We sort of get this exploration of desire, sexuality, education, class, and the complications of parenthood. So everybody is sort of like connected through like their experiences with parenthood. Like Melody's grandparents they're sort of like they're not necessarily like obsessed with appearance, but they sort of have this they sort of have a very like classist attitude. They wanted to make sure that their daughter never really had to experience a lot of the things that they actually went through. But they also are like kind of religious. A lot goes on in Melody's mother's life. She was a young mother, and it's sort of like a different take on young motherhood and young fatherhood, because we get to the perspectives of Melody's father, and you're like, this is different. This is a little bit different from what we usually get when people are exploring teenage parents. But that's one of the things that I really appreciated about this book. So each character has a very distinct voice and is given their chance to tell their side of the story. I couldn't help but find myself like really immersed in the memories of Melody's grandmother. She sort of retells the events of the Tulsa massacre and how this impacted her life. And then with Sade comes like this exploration of like class and familial wealth. Sade has this idea of storing her wealth in gold. It's so interesting. From all of that to just like these simple things like her reciting Paul Laurence Dunbar to her husband. It's just, she's such an interesting character, and that's what I really appreciated about so many of the characters in this book. Their background makes sense, and it all plays a role into who they are as people in the present, which I really appreciate. And it's something that I had like a really big problem with in a book that I'm reading right now, but And one of my favorite quotes from Sade in this novel was found on page 85. And she says, "And you keep rising. Cash some of the gold back into money. Put the money into a house someplace far away from everything your child and you and your husband have always known about Brooklyn. You pack and you rise. You sing the songs you remember from your own childhood. Mama may have, Papa may have. You remember your parents living, wrap the ancient photos of Lucille's Hair Heaven and Papa Joe's Supper Club pulled from the flames, and you rise, you rise, you rise." Melody as a main character, though you could kind of see her in certain ways as being naive, she's very aware of everything that's going on around her. She has a best friend that you'll find out more about him in this if you pick up this novel, but she has this best friend that everybody doesn't think that she knows about him, but then at the end you sort of get like, it's not exactly like a plot twist, but just a realization that she knows more than people think. And that friendship, family, and love sort of are different to everybody. We all experience things in different ways. Iris, her mother, struggles and loves and loses, but at the end of the day, she survives, which I think she's such a beautifully written character. In the book, she sort of describes how it feels, because Iris actually gets pregnant with Melody when she is 15 years old. She doesn't necessarily know who she is, but she grows to know who she is not. And she makes a statement and she's like, 15, I wasn't even anybody yet. It speaks volumes, because a lot of the times when you get like YA lit, there are these teenagers that think they know everything, and they think that they are aware of who they are. And they do have some level of self-awareness, but their identity is still being molded. It's still developing. They don't completely know who they are. And I really appreciate how in this, Iris is like painted as a character who is still learning things about her, and she knows that she's still learning things about herself. It definitely finds her making a lot of questionable choices, but I appreciate the questionable choices. You really couldn't help but love Aubrey, Melody's father, and you really end up like crying for him in the end. I'm a very emotional person, but I really found myself like sobbing. And then the same with Po Boy, Melody's grandfather. It was just a lot. And then what I really loved about this book is it's really like an exploration of all like the wrongs and the rights, the complications and the struggles that are a part of growing up Black, and especially for Black girls in America. And what I really appreciate about Jacqueline Woodson's writing is that there is like no judgment. It's not like she's trying to like sway you in a certain direction in how you view these characters or how you're supposed to view the issues that they deal with. But this book is just, it's so Black. It's so queer at certain points. It's beautifully written. It's poetic. I really like appreciate like how different this book is from anything that I've really ever read, to be honest. I absolutely love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And something getting 5 out of 5 stars for me is, it has to be amazing. Like, it has to be like next level. And I think that this book is next level. It's just so good. It's just so good. I think I've lost all my words to really describe this, but everybody needs to read this. But I really don't have anything else to say about this book. Just read it. If you enjoyed this review, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that you press that subscribe button. Comment below if you read this book. What were your thoughts? If you haven't, are you thinking about picking it up? I really would love to hear what everybody has to say about Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. Always remember, you are loved, and thank you for checking out this video. I will see you in the next one in my new apartment. See ya.